Hey, welcome. It's Brian, and today I wanted to take a few minutes to remember the amazing Ozzy Osbourne, a member of one of my favorite groups of all time. Ozzy also was my first show ever in 1981 on the Blizzard of Oz tour. Randy Rhoads is one of my favorite guitar players of all time as well. I love Ozzy on all the Black Sabbath records, and I really liked the records with Randy, of course. Liked is an understatement. I love them, and they were really, really important records for a lot of reasons. Black Sabbath, as we all know, is the cornerstone of heavy music, and Ozzy was obviously a huge part of that, adding a really unique approach to singing and just adding the right vibe to an incredibly important band. Uh, we have the first record with Black Sabbath, kind of a bluesy, heavier one. One of my favorite Black Sabbath records, actually. And the only cover band I was ever in was a Black Sabbath cover band. We didn't do an incredible job, but it was fun. It was great to learn those songs. Obviously, the second one, you have Paranoid, Iron Man. Those are songs that I've heard a billion times, but we also have War Pigs, Rat Salad, Fairies Wear Boots, all sorts of great stuff. That second side, and I love Planet Caravan, one of my favorites. Master of Reality, all sorts of great stuff. Orchid, Lord of this World, Solitude, Into the Void, obviously Sweet Leaf, and After Forever, and Children of the Grave. An amazing record, a seminal record for heavy music, because this is when Tony and Geezer tuned down a minor third to C sharp, which I don't know if that had ever been done before. Volume 4, one of my favorites of all time, Supernaut, Cornucopia, Snowblind, Laguna Sunrise, St. Vita Stance, Under the Sun. I love that song. Love this whole record. FX, could do without, but it's still kind of neat in the context of that. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, kind of a perfect album. Everything on here is incredible. A very dark album, mixing wise, but an incredible one. Sabotage, a very beat up one. I think this is not the first album ever, but as far as vinyl, it was the first record I bought, and I love it to this day. Technical Ecstasy, which I think actually is probably out of the 9, probably number 9. Lots of great stuff on it. I love it all, but you have to have a top one and a last one. This is probably number 9. Black Sabbath, we have Never Say Die, obviously one of my favorites, usually in the top 3 or 4 at all times, and it has been since I bought it in 1979 or 80. Of course, we have 13, which was a great showing by the band, produced by Rick Rubin. I love this record. The tour was great, like I said. And then some live stuff. If you remember in the 70s, Live at Last came out, and that was a very barbaric sounding record and really terrible. I don't even know. I'm looking to see what was even on it as far as songs. I don't remember. I just remember it not being great. And then we have the reunion tour, which was great, had some really cool cuts on it. Ozzy sounded amazing. And what Live at Last didn't do, past lives did. They kind of culled together some pretty great performances of a lot of cool songs on here. And from a lot of records. I thought through Sabotage. I could be wrong. Yeah, there's Symptom of the Universe, stuff like that. Cool when it came out. Not perfect sonically, but really great. And then we have The End. Again, I was blown away by this tour. I kind of had not super high expectations as far as Ozzy singing, but I went there with my son and one of my friends that was with me at that original Blizzard of Oz show in 1981, and it was a beautiful ending, and I was so happy that my son and I got to see them. Unfortunately, without Bill Ward, that would have made it perfect. But when it all said and done, it was an incredible show. All the way around, great playing, great, like kind of stage show and all of that. And it was, to me, the perfect way to wrap up their career. And then we flash forward to, 2 weeks ago, to the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, however it was phrased. And it's pretty poignant that they got to do that last show as the four original members. And literally within a couple of weeks, Ozzy's gone. I haven't watched a lot of it. I've been a little bit afraid to watch it, just simply because I'd rather kind of keep them in my mind at when they were their best, like in 2015 and stuff, the reunion tour and all of that. And I thought at some point I'll be able to bring myself to watch it. But as that came and went, the big show, lots of stuff going on, I kind of wondered quickly, like, who would be the first of them to go now that they're all in their mid 70s. Ozzy's obviously was pretty sick. I just today watched some of it. I didn't know he was that bad off. Tony's obviously had bouts of cancer, and at one point was probably almost dead, and here he is today. And on that show, they all sounded pretty great, and Geezer looks great. Bill looked great, and I kind of just kind of passingly thought, who would it be? Because they're all in their mid 70s and have all lived pretty hard lives at certain times. Um, and they're all treasures. I mean, Geezer, Tony, Bill, and Ozzy. I guess I didn't think it would be any of them, weirdly enough. And here we are. So, um, I'll be listening to a lot of Black Sabbath. I always do. I have my little phases, maybe like you. I listen to a lot of different music, a lot of extreme music and stuff. But Black Sabbath, along with some of my progressive rock favorites, are up there. To me, they're my Beatles, Black Sabbath. Um, and I always kind of put them on the same pedestal, if not slightly higher than the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, because those three bands had such interesting approaches, and had one of them not been there, it wouldn't have worked. Um, and that obviously goes for Black Sabbath. Would have there been a Black Sabbath or some kind of version of it? Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, from what I remember, Bill and Ozzy were friends, and Tony and Geezer were friends. And so if there was no Ozzy, there would have been no Bill Ward. And maybe that catalyst, that incredible drummer, much in the same kind of frame of work as, John Bonham, and iconic great rock drumming by Bill Ward is kind of what I'm getting to. We wouldn't have had that band, Black Sabbath, that here we are talking about, um, 50 years later, 57 years later since the first record came out. Am I correct? Yeah, or whatever. It's at least 55. And that's a long, long time. So I'm glad the remaining members are here. I'm glad we got to see them one last time. And if you ask me, Ozzy passing away, I'm so glad it didn't happen before, or one of them didn't pass away before this big show. And maybe it was Ozzy's last push to get, I'm sure, from what I've seen and heard, he obviously had a lot of struggles just to get up there and even sit in that chair. And it takes a lot of courage when you're in that condition to show the world that, I'm not in good shape. And I'm sure just to prove to himself that he could do it, and to everyone, and to not let anyone down, he got up there and did a lot of stuff that was probably very, very hard to do and uncomfortable. So, uh, rest in peace, Ozzy. And yeah, we'll miss you. See you soon.